Go through and show you this module here, this SAT file in 4.0 that I've done some measurement to, and I wanted to set the weights on the alignment because the original alignment that I used, I did not set the weights. I just did an iterative alignment to the A datums, which are all up-down pads, similar to this one here, and then the B datums, there were 4 of those which solved for fore aft, which were these flat planes here. Each one of those legs had a fore aft stop on it. And then what I had was a hole and a slot that was known as a C datum. So there was a C hole and a C slot. So the original iterative alignment, all of those datum features were just allowed to best fit as good as they could. But then my client said, no, I'd like to pin that in my fixture between the hole and the slot, which are, I'll do a plan view here. I will zoom in on the hole area here. That would be up in here. And then R to regenerate. See how that hole is a little bit misaligned from the nominal datum hole, which is the yellow. So the measured would be the feature up here that's in purple. And then I'll show you the slot as well. If I go down to this side here and down, down, down a little bit, here's the slot. And you can see that's misaligned as well. Okay, well there's some conflict on the datums here. If I was looking, zoom out a little bit, if I'm looking at all the datums best fitting, it's truly not pinning in my C datums. I've got a conflict with the B datums, which also solve for this Y component, or for this fore aft component here. So I've got a conflict in the datums. So if my client truly wants that to be aligned to the C datum hole for fore aft and for cross car, and then the C datum slot for just cross car, well, I can easily do that by setting the weights on that iterative alignment. And since I've got an alignment out there right now, I will go to the review features. I've got a lot of content in that model, a lot of dimensions and some other measured features. So I will go down and I'll find the alignment. The final alignment is what I was using here as my current alignment. What I can do is I can go and edit that alignment. You can see the features highlighted that I've been using here to solve for that alignment. But now truly, if my client is telling me that the hole in the slot for C have to be set to money, to be pinned, what I would say is, okay, then I'm going to deselect my B datums, since there's a conflict in datums there, and not allow those flanges to solve me for fore aft. And then I will go set weights and say, okay. Now what I've got is the A datums that are all solving me for up down, and then the C datums, the hole in the slot, that are going to solve me for cross car and for fore aft. And not for up down, I should say that too. So I'm going to get rid of the Z component there and there for the hole and the slot. Let me zoom out just a little bit, or just move this aside just a little bit. Now it's tough to see, but here's the Y component that's going to solve me this way. And then right here inside of this area, that dimension's kind of covering it up, but there's an X in there. So my X is side to side, or cross car here. So Z component, I don't want the hole in the slot to solve me there. Only the A datums will solve me there. But now, the C hole I want to solve me for fore aft and for cross car. That makes sense to keep those both at 1. But then the slot, I only want me to solve for cross car. I only want that, not the Y component. So I'll deselect the Y component there. Now, notice one thing here is, inside of CAM2, I cannot deselect any other features here. Since these were measured as surface points, I'm trying to double click all over and I'm not getting any change there. So since it's a surface point going to a surface patch, it will find that patch and solve it for whatever component that patch is created as. So I'm not too worried about that. But I definitely want the hole in the slot to solve me for cross car, and I want the hole to solve me for the fore aft. Okay, let's say okay to that and let it resolve. And then what I'll do is I'll go back down to my hole in my slot. Now, notice what happens here is my hole is now truly set to 0, as if I was pinning it in a gauge. And then my slot deviation is 0 here for the X component, but it's allowed to float in the Y. So if you need to dictate or set the weights on any of your components, say if you're pinning it in a gauge, this is the way to do it. Just go back to the iterative alignment and set the weights. Or in this case, since I've got that alignment out there, I can just take it here in Review Features and edit and set those weights.